the map of Africa. Can you see what nature brings? Oh Lord, this is so beautiful.
There is a clear human footprint of a Bukusu man whose name is called Mr.Murya. That's why I've been placed here to take you around. And the first mark, madam, that I will be able to point to you is therefore the indelible footprint of Mr. Murya.
Okay. So what have you said is the meaning of Sikele Samurya?
I've just
Sikele
said
is the
Sikele
left.
stands for human leg,
Yeah.
and the Murya is a male Bukusu name.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can get to the video.
Into action.
Yeah.
And the name of this particular site is called Sikele Shamurya. Sikele Shamurya is a Bukusu word which denotes that Sikele stands for human leg and the Murya is a male Bukusu name. So somewhere on this rock is a clear human footprint. And to the point, therefore, this one is a mark which represented and still represents to be the human print, the human footprint of Mr. Murya. And who was Mr. Murya? Mr. Murya was a Bukusu seer or prophet who was filled with the miraculous powers inside his body. And indeed, therefore, madam, it was the miraculous powers that made it possible that when he stepped onto this rock formation, then the indelible footprint was left there. And at a keen observation, it is the left foot and not the right one. The reason being that the miraculous powers were more concentrated to the left side of his body.
Okay.
That's why you see the left foot. So to have stepped using the right one, the miraculous powers would have been very passive, and hence he would not have succeeded to leave the print, because there was a contest between him and the prophets of his days as to who would walk and leave the indelible footprint here. So when Mr. Murya did it, it became completely and completely sure or certain that this man was completely very unique. So many had flocked here to view this man, and he not only left an indelible footprint, but he went miles further to surprise the viewers. But this time round, kneeling onto the rock and prints. Permit me, madam, that I now show you the knee prints. Am I permitted?
Yes.
So, at a keen observation, this one is believed to have been the right knee print. And this one here was Mr. Murya's left knee print. So he just nailed onto this rock formation when very many people were looking at him. Permit me, madam, that I give a demonstration of what this great seer did. He just nailed the way you see me kneel. You can even capture me from the phone. So he just had to raise the hands up that way. And very many people were watching at him in those days. And immediately Mr. Murya stood up the way you see me stand. The knee prints were left there. In fact, fear and surprise engulfed the viewers of his days to think the kind of man he was.
Wow.
So, to the point, madam, because this man was a seer, he was sending the future message. Therefore, by him kneeling, he was demonstrating to the people that he was a religious man. And religion is just a belief, meaning as a man or woman believes, so she or so he is. In this regard, Mr. Murya, by him kneeling, he was now submitting and surrendering to the supernatural being whom he thought had given him the miraculous powers that made him exemplary, different. And him being a seer, as I had just spoken from the outset, digitally, by him kneeling, he's teaching people to hold on to their faith. I, being just a tour guide or a facilitator, I'm not like a pastor, but I'm here telling people that into the digital world, people need to hold on to their religious faith, because there are so many religions, Islamic, Hindu, but this is how the Bukusu people traditionally could approach the supernatural being.
Why is it that it cannot be this one and that one?
Which one?
This one.
Well, what I'm giving you, madam, it cannot be this way, but this one, because what I'm giving you are the things that I was shown.
Okay.
Because this information was perpetuated. from one generation to another.
Okay.
The people who gave me did not mention it there. They were just saying here. So back to the point, therefore, Mr. Murya is still teaching the digital people that they need to be religious people, holding on to their religious faith. And when he was doing these things here, very many people were envious, especially the seers of his days. Permit me, madam, that I enumerate to you a few of the seers during the days of Mr. Murya. We had Maineo Narukali, who was also a seer. We had Mukite Wanamem. We had Mutonyo Nabukerembe. But these people could not match Mr. Murya. Reason, they didn't possess the miraculous powers. As you are quite aware, madam, miracle is just a talent that God can give the person whom he would have chosen to do things excellently. So when Mr. Murya excelled, they sought to kill him. Who? The other prophets of his days. And him being a prophet, he knew what was being planned. So
When was that, please?
actually time was not captured because this happened way back before writing culture could be brought into space as a means of storing information.
Would you estimate? Or
Actually, I can't because
okay.
just traditionally where writing was not done, madam, during the medieval ages, the prehistorical times.
Okay.
Back to the point, many sought to kill him because they wanted to be him, but because they failed, so they wanted to kill him. And therefore he had to carve some weapons of war, like spear and a shield, whereby he was to fight using them. Permit me, madam, that I take you to where these things that I'm mentioning to you are, the war weapons. Am I permitted, madam? Come. So you can capture this from this side. Madam, I bet that you read this side. As a tour guide, you can stand there. So after clear observation, this one here is now the imprint of the boy's foot, the left footprint of the boy. And at the middle part here, this one is believed to have been the spearhead, this dark spot here. And at the far end, this one was now the shield. I told you he carved these ones because he knew men who were envious of what he was doing, wanted to kill him. Therefore, if provoked, he could use the spear to fight against the enemies, and he could defend himself offensively using this particular shield here. And the boy's foot is here with an intention that Mr. Murya the seer was training the lad or the boy to also carry on the work of protecting the Bukusu community against the intruders by use of the spear and the shield to defend.
A minute, please. Why is it that they are not physical? They are not tangible. They are not tangible weapons. They are just written. Is it that was a way of passing information?
In fact,
or
this was a way of passing information symbolically. He chose to do passing the information through the use of symbols.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Permit me, madam, that I sink deeper here. Him being a seer, as I had said, and a seer is one whose duty is to send prophetic messages.
Yeah.
By him causing the spear to appear here, he was sending that the spear which was being used to be fighting by blood and flesh transforms to become the digital pen or the mouse. And this shield, which was being used to be defending himself, transforms to become the present book or the computer. And the boy who was now just fighting into the digital world, Mr. Murya's strongest point, which he wanted people to understand, is this. This now becomes the digital boy or digital girl who now goes through learning institution using a pen and a book, and thereafter undergo professional training, become a tour guide, a nurse, a hostess, or anything according to how one would have qualified.
Oh.
So Mr. Murya,
So
Mr. Murya, a strong person, was a strong seer who said these things here, madam, to make the Bukusu people view life in a total different perspective. Finally, this one, he causing the boy to appear here. Therefore, this is a strong cultural information that the strength of the head of the family, whether man or woman, his or her strength, is not determined by how much money or how many acres of land he has, but the kind of family he is raising up, who embrace the moral value. And I hope you understand what moral values are, madam.
Yeah, I know.
The required standard of behavior that is
Yes.
permitted in any community.
Yeah, it's true.
Mr. Murya had a place where he was sleeping, madam. So he was sleeping here. This shape represented the animal skin. If they were not here, Amagers would have just said this is a bed. But this one was an animal skin, which formed to be the
Actually, it
cultural
looks like an animal
Thank you, madam.
skin, yeah.
And specifically, it was for a leopard skin.
And it's strong.
Yeah. Permit
Just
me, madam,
as you
to give a demonstration of what Mr. Murya did onto this skin. You could just look here. Let me ask you a question. Are my two eyes open or closed, madam?
They are closed.
Thank you very much. So Mr. Murya made sure that he closed his eyes when he was sleeping here. Don't forget.
But it's hurting you, right? Because it's a rock for you.
No,
We are used to beddings.
No, I'm fitting.
You're describing. Okay.
And I'm felt the comfortability of the skin, madam.
Okay, okay.
And this one was now called a stool or a chair on which he sat. You could just sit here the way you see me sit.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe just see it with your naked eyes. This one was a chair on which he could sit.
Describe again.
This one was a called a chair or a stool,
yeah,
where he was sitting. Permit me, madam, that I even demo.
Yeah, demonstrate. Kindly demonstrate.
Thank you, madam. He was just comfortably seated this way.
Hey!
And if he was tired,
yes.
Mr. Murya could retire to the skin to sleep.
Just next to his bed.
Exactly, madam.
Okay, okay.
So as you can see, it was either sleeping or sitting.
Okay.
And it was not just quite literal the way I'm talking. It was completely symbolical. Follow me closely. While seated as a prophet, he was now better placed inside his prophetic office, where he was now giving solutions to the problems that the Bukusu people had.
Ah, okay.
For example, on various concerns on life, like marriage, among other things. Permit me that I sink deeper here. People could confront him with questions on marriage, and the greatest expectation in any given marriage, be it Bukusu or elsewhere, whenever a girl has gotten a boy and they have begun a home, the greatest expectation is a child. So if time could elapse without a child, this couple could now confront Mr. Murya. What could be the problem? And him being a seer, madam, he could look straight into their eyes, and he could determine that perhaps these people might have contravened the Bukusu taboos or customary laws. As such, he gave a solution of this particular couple to sacrifice a particular animal, so to avert the crisis, among others. And I should not skip to mention that in those days, Bukusu people could embark onto journeys. And before they could embark onto the journey, madam, people could come to determine from the prophet, is this journey successful or not? And indeed he did that. And from here, Mr. Murya proved to the people of his days that he was a lover of animals who kept various animals.
A lot of kettles. Okay.
Among other livestock. As you can view here, this one is the imprint of a ram viewed from the other side, madam. So that this is the mouth of this is the mouth of a ram or a sheep. This is the head. This is its neck. And let me repeat. Yes. This is the imprint of a sheep, which was a male sheep, the ram, whose mouth is this one, as you can see my right hand move. Yes. So that this one was its head, and this one was the neck, and this was its abdominal part of it, and this one was the tail. Of course, it was lying down. Yeah. Going forward, do you also agree?
Am I standing in the right position?
Exactly.
Okay.
You are right.
Yes.
And I think you are seeing it clearly onto the screen.
Yes.
So it was lying down here. This one is total evidence, therefore, that Mr. Murya was economically empowered, despite these things happened during the medieval ages. And it is not just important for people to come and see these shapes here. Mr. Murya intended to picture some lessons here.
Yeah, it's true.
So Mr. Murya's message here is that by then he was economically empowered. He was not a beggar. So he's teaching especially present youths who are boys and girls to remain economically empowered.
Please pass that message to the youths out there.
Thank you, madam. Listen to this. He is now having
economically empowered.
Not everyone can earn money through academics, but if people can venture into livestock production, these people can always enjoy financial freedom.
It's true. Yes, I'm getting you.
From here, Mr. Murya proved the world that he was a married man. Permit me, madam, to take you to to see the imprint of the wife. Am I permitted, madam?
Yes.
This is the strategic position you can stand, madam, before you capture. So that as you fix your mission, this was the head, whereby this one was the chin. This is the forehead. This formed the sogo. This is just though a more
She's seated down.
Exactly, madam. And this one was the neck. This one was her neck. This formed the shoulders. So this is the back. These are the buttocks. In fact, she's seated, stretching her legs that way. Do you see that imprint?
Yes.
So this one is total evidence that this man was married. Because from the outset, I showed you the man's footprint. At the middle part, you saw the boy's foot.
Yes.
This time, the mother. From here, I just deduced that this man was married. So it's a strong message that a Bukusu boy, two Bukusu boys, if they would have attained age marriage, they should make hurry, not hurry, but they should get time and find a partner. And she's being depicted to be seated and not standing with a reason. Sitting in the sense that marriage is a life commitment. Mr.Murya is teaching people that when one has gotten married, she should never at any one time pretend not to be married when she isn't. This regard, people need to be proud of who they are.
That's a taboo.
Exactly. Number two, Mr.Murya told the people the message, whose message has remained very vivid, that Bukusu girls were and today are called upon to maintain virginity, as this moral value is completely very profitable to the parents of the girl, as it would earn an extra income during dowry.
Wow.
Therefore, girls especially are called upon to maintain virginity. The reason why even most of our sugarcane factories are disintegrating, girls are deeper into immorality. That's why they are not maintaining that. And this brings back to omen. That's why even the companies are disintegrating and not paying farmers. So if girls can maintain this one and just look for a partner, then they can maintain stability into their life.
So you mean ladies here, they have immoral values in the community?
Some of them are not all of them, madam. Just some.
Yeah.
However, very many have maintained that virginity.
Yeah.
And Mr.Murya proved to the world that he also paid attention to life inside the water. That is indeed fishing. Permit me, madam, that I show you a clear imprint of the fish onto this rock formation.
Okay. Yes.
So that this is the head of the mud fish, and this one was its gill, this it is at a gill, so that this is the body. Do you see it, madam?
Yes.
So as you can see, Mr.Murya was a person who wanted the people to diversify their minds, that people should not just concentrate to animal world. If you fail into animal world, then you can always earn money through fishing industry.
Yes, it's
so
true.
Here, Mr.Murya now showed that he could keep different animals, some wild animals and others domesticated animals. From this point, madam, permit me to walk you to a complexity of animal hooves.
Keeping also wild animals?
He was keeping both wild and domestic. And
Okay.
I want to show you the evidence of the hooves.
Okay.
Am I permitted to walk you where they are?
Yes.
I really honor the man who listed prominently in this one.
Thank you.
Never have I experienced such a great evening like this.
Thank you. You're honored.
So, madam,
I'm humbled.
these are the hooves of different animals. There are other hooves that I'm not quite certain which hoof is for what animal. But for those ones that I'm quite certain, madam, as you can see my left hand, this one was the hoof and still is believed to be the hoof of a cow. And below it, this one was the hoof of a sheep or the goat. This one here.
Oh, yeah.
And this one was the dog, which was the prefect animal.
If you don't understand what a hoof is, are the legs.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, those.
Yes, you can as well even
under parts of the.
you can as well even discover yourself, because from my
Is
perception.
this for a chicken?
Yeah,
or?
You can as well discover. You can discover. But here, I'm here to say this is the evidence that this man kept a variety of animals.
Yeah.
And permit me, madam, that I now even explain to you, mention and into the scientific world, a lion is a predator, and into the scientific world, a cow is a prey. They say that a prey can be eaten by a predator. But see, the distance now between the prey and the predator is just a stone throw distance. I'm talking about this being the enemy to this one here.
Yeah.
So, in this, let me interrogate. Can a cow today be able to stand all that close to a leopard?
Never.
Yeah, but in the days of Mr.Murya, they could just stand. Why? Because of the miraculous powers. It made that the enemy was just to become a friend of what it was supposed to eat. So the message is teaching us that, the message Mr.Murya is teaching us by use of these animals is that because of this distance, Mr.Murya is teaching the world that let us always be aware that our enemies are not far from us. And many are the types of enemies. An enemy can be a person who doesn't want you.
It's true.
An enemy can be disease.
Yeah.
For students, the greatest enemy is examination. So for one to stay well, you need to mark your enemy. So for students, the greatest enemy is education, is the exam. So meaning, given that for you to stay well, you need to mark your enemy, it means that for those who are in learning institution, they must mark the examination. You remain very chronological in their studies, that all will be well with them.
Yeah. They also say like you have to put your enemy close to
Thank you, madam.
for you to understand what they are
Thank you,
planning.
madam. And
Yeah.
from here, Mr.Murya had a knife, because in the Bukusu understanding, when you have animals, you must also have a knife. Because
Yeah.
at one time you want to eat. Permit me, madam, to show you a knife. Am I
Okay.
permitted?
Yes.
See, madam. There's some little water into that.
Yes.
I want to pour so that it becomes very clear. But before I pour water, this is the knife, whose handle is this one, and this is the plate. Let me pour water so that you see it clearly, madam. You see, this is the handle of it. And this is the sharp end. Do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. This is now a cultural artifact. It is a historical terminology. And this dark spot here, madam, where I'm pouring the water, this was the arrowhead. And this one was the upinde, or the what is it? The bow. This one here. So in those days, if Mr.Murya wanted to eat an animal, he did not just slaughter straight away in the way we are doing it digitally, but he went a process of fixing the arrowhead to the bow so that he could shoot to the neck, so that the blood could come out. And when it could stop, then he could throw himself into skinning it using the very knife here. From here, he did what I've just explained to you. He drank the blood and left the nyama behind. Permit me to show you the
Why?
beef.
Why would he, drink the blood and leave the meat behind?
Because
for the wild animals? Or for the wild animals? Or
no, he saw that many were the half-nodes of his days. So having drank the blood, he left the nyama for those people who were less privileged, because he was the richest man.
Okay.
So he drank the blood and left the nyama for the half-nodes. Permit me that I now take you to see the nyama.
Okay.
Am I permitted, madam?
Yes.
Come, follow me closely. I'm humbled to have you, madam.
Thank you.
Behind you is my son, that old man.
Okay.
This one was and is still believed to be the beef, the fat beef. He had to kill a big and a fat animal. As you can see, this was the fat part of it. This one was its liver. This one was the lungs. So he used the knife which I've just shown you to cut this way with the intention of draining the blood through. And I want to explain a mystery. In the days of Mr.Murya, not now, if people could fix their eyes onto the rock the way we are, if people could fix their eyes onto the meat the way we're fixing it, people's mouth will straight away start salivating.
Okay.
That's why when I was explaining to people from Maini some 2 years ago, they had to cut here, feeling that the stone was to transform into meat for them to eat, because it was just towards lunchtime, madam. But it was only effective in the days of this particular seer.
Okay.
But the message he is teaching here, as he told the people,
It's good to share.
Yeah, that he was so generous that he drank the blood and left the nyama for the less privileged members. So as much as he did that, we need also to embrace that spirit of, generosity.
Yes.
But as much as we're having a lot of food to eat, let us always remember that there are others who are yawning the whole night.
Or less fortunate.
Thank you, madam.
Yes.
I want to surprise you to show you a full image of a camel. Am I permitted, madam?
Yes.
Just draw closer. Follow me closer.
Okay.
Are eyes closed or open? As you are walking.
But I can't. Oh, yeah.
So as you can see, madam, so that this is the head, the mouth of the camel. This is its neck. As you watch my right hand, still the neck. He used the climbers or the lentils to tie around its neck, and all of this white spot formed its abdominal part of it. And here, this part here where people tampered formed its arm, and this dark spot was its tail. I think it has come. Has it?
Yeah.
Therefore,
Is it lying down? Because I can see these are the four.
Yes, because the legs were being folded there. And this
And
one
the
was,
loop of Henley is somewhere
thank
here.
you, madam. And this one was a water source where it had just drank the water after grazing all the vegetation we are even seeing.
Okay.
Back to the point I want to emphasize here, madam.
Yeah.
The size of this animal is big. Therefore, Mr.Murya is honored to have been a great proposer who kept big animals like this one here. And that's why if the county government of Bungoma can come with speed and capture this particular place and keep these animals into practical essence, it can earn a lot of foreign exchange, because keeping of such animals testifies of wildlife.
Yes, it's true.
Yes, because wildlife simply means animals into the natural environment. It will even attract tourists to come here. International men and women will be flying to come here. And when they keep on flying, the standard of living in this particular community will be improved. And I'm looking forward that if there is any way of you even linking me outside there, link me, madam, because God might have even brought you here with that motive. Thank you very much. But it's not. I just want to go to a place where there is a water source, a well, and a put a full stop there. I want to.
So you have talked about tourism. So what are you working towards to make sure? Okay, I think I'll bring up these questions at the end of this. At the end of this, yeah.
Yes, madam. I'm walking you to a place. This one was Mr.Murya's natural well.
Okay, but right now it's dry.
It's dry. But in the days of him,
is it that you're not observing the
actually,
you're not observing the like you're not planting trees or
actually I was coming to explain that.
Yeah.
But what I'm ready to say is that this one was the well.
Yes.
And during his days, this well could not dry up. Whether with or without rainfall, there was plenty of water.
Yeah.
And,
but it's very small.
Yes.
Could it sustain its needs of water?
Yes. And because of the deforestation, they are used to being majestic trees here, but because they have tampered, that's why it is drying up here.
Okay.
And it was at this particular well that Mr.Murya could determine the coming and disappearing of rainfall.
Oh.
There were some practices he did here.
Okay.
He could now take a leaf of a certain plant. He could take a leaf of a certain stem here. Then he could insert it here. If the leaf could sink straight away and go into those secret chambers to provoke the frogs to begin croaking, that croaking of frogs was now taken to be the announcement of coming of the rainfall. And if the leaf was introduced and it did vice versa, that is, if it could just float, that indicated the dry spell. Finally, madam, therefore, according to the information I was given, Mr.Murya is regarded to have been a strong man who set a strong foundation on which the present meteorology rests to also give weather forecast. Among others, there are so many other things, but because Rome wasn't built within other day. Yes, true. My name is still Simon Nyongesa, the tour guide of this particular place. If someone desires to reach me, this particular man or woman can reach me on this number: 07 11 518 708. Let me repeat the number: 07 11 518 708. The alternative number can be 07 21 499 06. Thank you very much.